Really? They're just gonna go with that nothing game? Man, they are desperate to get that to do well. I hope that means they're super confident about the next release, since they're not gonna use the ad for it. Seems like a waste. Yeah, pass. Oh, what's up, babe? You know me, can't help but talk to the computer. I mean, it's nothing major, just video game news. Oh, you know, about the ad. Yeah, Real Dreams 10 years is up today, so they're showing their ad in Antibot 3. It's pretty obviously a ploy to sell more copies for a one-time event, and I'm not gonna bother. I'll just read about it later. Knowing them, it'd probably be an ad for Antibot within Antibot. You know, the ad. The video game ad. The one that game companies get every decade? You don't know about that? How? Sorry, easy to forget not everyone's up on video game stuff like I am. No, it's not like huge or anything. But it's an interesting part of the history of advertising legislation. Yeah, it's also easy to forget that there used to be ads all over the place when we were kids. I hope future generations don't take this for granted. Right, the legislation made it so we'd see less ads, so of course you don't think about something you don't see anymore. Oh yeah, I remember when the law changed. Probably only knew so much about it because my mom signed the petition and she was really excited about there being limits on ads. A lot of things changed, but the real surprise was that they included games at all. I guess they wanted to get ahead of it. Not exactly. The plan was a blanket ban on advertisements in video games, but game companies argued that banning ads completely was an overreach. And I don't know who felt like being petty that day, but instead of banning ads in video games completely, it was decided that every game company was allowed to put an advertisement into one of their games once every 10 years. No, not every game gets an ad every 10 years. It's one ad per company every 10 years. What game it ends up in is up to them, though. Yep, and Real Dreams is in Antibot 3. The flop. No, they aren't trying to hide it. It's not like they have to run an ad. But they will, because corporations. But whenever they do, they have to wait 10 years before running another one. So you'd think they'd plan out where to put them better. The older companies are all coming up on their third ad since the law was passed. But there are new game companies and devs springing up all the time, and they get a decade ad too. It's usually a video that plays during the game. Anywhere you are in it, it'll pause and play it. But sometimes they'll put the ad in the game world itself, like on a TV screen or something. Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Wait, so you have seen one? In what game? Oh yeah, that one. Of course they put in a kid's game. What was it for? Oh, you skipped it? Yeah, that makes sense. If you were a kid, you probably thought something was wrong. Oh, the ad has to be skippable. Yeah, they really thought of everything when making that law. It's a pretty funny way to mess with greedy executives. But in some ways, it can actually be an advantage. Well, you know how I said they'll sometimes put the ad into the game rather than just playing it over top of it? Sometimes they'll treat the ad like an Easter egg. Oh yeah, and they can get real elaborate. Straight up ARG type shit. There was one indie title that sneakily updated the game in the month leading up to it, adding clues around the map for players to find. It was pretty exciting. A lot of people ended up buying the game just to get in on the clue hunting. The conclusion was a mess, though. Well, since it was an indie game, everybody thought that the clues would lead up to an ad for the game's sequel or some other project by the dev. But it actually turned out to be an ad for cryptocurrency. The dev really sold out on that one. People weren't happy. A lot of I told you so's from people who didn't buy the game. Most devs don't go that far to hide the ad, but some smaller companies do make a bit of a guessing game of it for fans. I've heard when the time comes around, there are people who keep all of a certain company's games open just to see which one gets the ad. Yeah, that one's not interesting to me. It's just sitting around waiting. And usually the ads are just a thanks for supporting us thing. Mostly only big companies do legit ads. They let the players know beforehand, too. There are people who will buy a game just to see what the ad is. Well, that's the thing. If you want to see the ad, you have to own the game. People do try to, but it's hard to post any of the game ads online because the bots usually catch it and take them down. So if you want to guarantee that you'll see the ad, you kinda just have to be there. Right? It's great they're so militant about keeping ads off the internet, but it goes way too far. Can't even have memes with certain logos. But I can't really complain. I remember how it used to be before they cracked down on it. The term completely unusable comes to mind. When I was a kid, my mom wouldn't let me use the computer without her because of how many ads were baked into websites. Yet here we are seeking them out. It's different when it's a rarity. Oh, actually, Mystery Arts is coming up on their 10th year. Maybe they've got something planned. Honestly, I'd take any chance for news of Biocastle Viral World. One day we'll get a release date. I stole this concept from somebody on Twitter. I don't remember who it was. They can sue me for the usage rights later.